This week in Moto from around the world, we're going to talk about rumors when it comes to big bucks. We're also going to talk about riders switching teams and also safety issues that is being implemented later in the future. Stay tuned. The speculative information that I had the privy of receiving at the Denver Supercross was World Supercross is confirmed later this year around the end of motocross for 5 rounds. And some of the teams potentially maybe not be as happy, which could have led to the termination of Adam Bailey as CEO. I think it's somewhat BS because the dude has done a lot for the association, but the rumors I was hearing was it was because of the exorbitant amount of spending for the last 3 rounds from 2023, spending about $16 million or so to put on those races. We all know that putting on big events are probably going to cost a lot. So what are you going to do? This is growing pains. They are a competition, and we really have them to thank for the Super Motocross Championship and the pay raise for here in America. If you were close to my members page on YouTube and the Patreon, you knew this stuff before it was released, that Tomac is down for the entire series of motocross. Is this potentially because of what's going on with WSX? Also, I've heard some other rumors that he might be going back to Cowie. I don't know how that's going to play out. However, we will see as the racing continues, because if anything, Supercross has been somewhat of a struggle for him this year. I do think he is on pace. Just the level of competition has increased. If I'm getting to the safety concerns, it's actually going on with MotoGP. And I was talking to riders at the press conference a few weeks ago at Glendale, and I actually got a gnarly kickback for asking about hole shot devices.
Metal grates and the ECUs and the hole shot devices, it seems like there's less separation going into the first turn, which makes it harder for you guys to get a consistent good start, and it may contribute to some of the crashes possibly. I mean, what are your guys' thoughts?
Maybe. I mean, I still, when I watch a start, I'm still way off the back sometimes. So, yes and no. That's a tough one. I kind of like sticking with the grates just because there's less kick in and it's a little bit more of an even playing field. Yes, correct, but I haven't honestly, because it is what it is. We're racing on it, so I haven't even really thought that deeply about it, honestly.
But guess what is going on with MotoGP? MotoGP is removing them.
All ride height and hole shot devices will be banned, controlling performance.
Banned to make it safer. They also are reducing the engine size in MotoGP from
1000cc to 850cc. This will decrease top speeds and increase mileage.
Along with removing their allotted engines from 7 to 6. There is plenty of things going on in 2027. They're taking this a little bit far, but you could definitely see this happening. We've had lots of crashes this year in Supercross because of hole shot devices. So I thought it was incredibly ironic and necessary that MotoGP was leading the charge for this.
All ride height and hole shot devices will be banned, controlling performance and increase.
Moving on, there's a good shout out to Pulp MX because they had $100,000 privateer challenge where, ironically, I think it's funny that Josh Hill ended up winning it because I've heard Steve talk about him being a stoner before and now he's giving him a check for $25,000. I'm sure they're totally cool. I see the irony of the whole thing. Mitchell Harrison was second, and my boy Tristan Lane, if you're ever at the races and see him and his mechanic with Silverback out there, they're awesome kids. Make sure you go say hi, get an autograph from these guys. But really awesome that these guys are getting this much money, along with the implementation of the Super Motocross at the end of the year, where some of these guys end up with $2,000 to $20,000 extra, which is awesome for privateers. Continuing with some of the rumors, I heard that Smith was actually going to Triumph for 4 years, but Michael Lindsay on Vital, he's heard that it is going to be 3 years along with Swole, but he also states in this video that Max Volan might be going over to Triumph. So those are the top ones that I want to point out. Everything else is, I've said before, with Anstie going to Star, that is a completely done deal from what I have heard. If I continue on to the points for Supercross, Levi Kitchen is tied with RJ for this upcoming finale at Utah. Yeah, we know that I want the finale to be in Vegas, but we do have the Super Motocross finale that is in Vegas, so there is good and both here. And I want to take just a few moments for Supercross so that you guys know about the St. Jude's auction that is going on. I will link the URL in the description below. The end of the auction is actually in May 13th, so it is coming right up here. This is to help prevent cancer and help a lot of kids out. So I really would say, guys, they've got really cool stuff there that you're not going to come away empty-handed. You're going to get some awesome memorabilia. And on that point, today's video sponsor is Precision Transport. They support racing. Their number is 877-827-0618. Pat over there, he's got a family. They all ride. They do jiu-jitsu. And if you need any sort of dry loads or refrigerated loads across country, call these guys up. They will help get you the best deal possible. And man, was there a gnarly race. This looks like one of the worst motocross tracks of all time there at round 5 in Portugal. Look at how gnarly this stuff is for how much rain that was coming down. This was the 250 class, and we had the leaders out front that ended up doing, honestly, fairly poorly because everyone just kept falling down. Kai de Wolf comes off with a 4th overall, and you've got Everts following in the family footsteps with a 1-1, which is incredibly impressive on a track that's this gnarly. Prado, he lost his perfect season because he ended up falling down and he had to get goggles for that first moto and ended up finishing 15th. You also had Hurlings end up getting passed by Geiger on the outside and then his bike blowing up. After the first moto, Tim Geiger winning it, he was honestly the points lead because Prado finished 15th, but he ended up going down in the first turn and getting run over by Febra. So talk about bad luck. You just got the championship lead after 5 rounds, and now you're going to crash basically out front. He ended up 3rd overall with a 1:10. Prado, his struggles continued because he hopped over a rut just here and ended up going down. He really doesn't like the mud, which is interesting because over here in America, some of the best finishes he had was Supercross races that were in the mud. But just pointing out how sloppy this track was. This is Geiger just falling into the Grand Canyon with his front fender ripped off. I'm surprised that more bikes didn't just blow up at Portugal over there. Jonas ended up coming away with his first win with a 2-2 score. Geiger on the podium with a 1:10, and Hurlings with 9th overall winning that second moto. Prado losing the championship points lead to Geiger with his poor performances by just falling down. But as Carmichael always said, you win a championship on your bad day. So I still believe that Prado is going to be the 2024 MXGP champion. Let me know in the comments below if you agree with Tony Bow winning the 4th round of the Trials Championship. This stuff is incredibly impressive. I know it's something that I can't do, so therefore sometimes I make fun of it, but that's just because of my lack of ability, I would say. It's amazing when you see guys at the top level do what they're supposed to do because it looks easy. I like going to the local stuffs because that stuff's pretty funny because everyone just keeps falling over. But anyway, my jokes are over. I digress. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and like button. And until next time, bra-da-da-da-da.